Yo, what's up, all y'all out there in YouTube land, little face boogers and Instagrammers, little social media-itis folk? Nah, I'm playing. We out here on this nice day, February, man. It's 60-something degrees out here on the East Coast, so that's pretty good for it. You know what I mean? The middle of February. But anyways, we're gonna come and just talk briefly about raising children, especially from a standpoint when someone else already has a child when you're going into that relationship.
Pretty much, I would say that first and foremost, you have to communicate with each other while you're dating before you even say I do, get into that serious commitment with someone. If you already have a child or children coming into a relationship, in that dating phase or even prior to dating, you need to have a conversation about how each other thinks about raising children, and what you think that picture should look like. So that way you can both be on the same page, because you don't want to enter a marriage or, a serious relationship with someone and then you all don't agree on how it is to raise kids or see eye to eye when it comes to, children and the different things that come with children, because it's not easy raising kids. And we have three. When Mark and I met, we had, my daughter, and I've never heard him say, your daughter, or you need to go get her, or anything like that. He always treated her like, she belonged to him too. So you just need to make sure that you have that communication with each other, sit down, be on the same page, so that way you won't have any strife between you two in a relationship, because it can happen and you don't want that to happen, because it would put a strain on your marriage.
Yeah, no matter where you're coming from, the if the man already has a child or if the woman already has a child, whatever, you pretty much are trying to win both of them over, really, because that child was there first. However, once the marriage takes place, then it's always your spouse first. So you know what I mean. We always try to keep everything in line. God first, then our spouse second, and then our children third. So anytime we try to put our children over God, we're gonna be in trouble. Anytime we try to put, our children over our spouse, it's gonna be a problem there too. So we try to keep everything, under that perspective. Coming in from the person that didn't have a child, that's one thing that I respected and liked about Rashana, is that she showed that motherhood, what is it, characteristic, quality, or whatever feature. But that's one thing that I was like, yo, once we have our own kids, I already know that they're gonna be good, because I seen how she takes care of her own. And the first time we met and she introduced me to her daughter, we was just hanging out pretty much. We was just like friends. But the roles changed, of course, once we got married, and we had to sit down and talk with her too. Like, hey, listen, this is what we about to do, and some things may change, not for the worse, but just so you don't come in and say, hey, this is my buddy now or whatever. I have to respect this person now as a parent, and you're not trying to take somebody else's place, especially when the other person is still in their life. You know what I mean? But you just learn, to work with each other, like Rashana was saying, just communicate.
Yeah, pretty much. And bottom line is that when you're in a relationship with each other, just like our relationship with God and his relationship with us, is based on love. And if we're all in the family and we're all loving each other and, getting along and respecting each other in our different positions, as far as parents or children or husband and wife, then we'll all have a happy home. You won't have turmoil, you won't have strife within the family if we're all operating out of love. So pretty much, communication, just making sure that everybody's on the same page, making sure that you loving each other the way that you're supposed to, and loving the kids and respecting them, and just trying to create a happy home with one another. And also too, don't let outside people dictate, how this should look. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have friends and all these outside people coming into your relationship telling you how they think, the step parent or whatever you want to call them should be, or you know how your relationships with your kids should be. It's nobody else's business. As long as you all agree and sit down at the table and say, listen, this is how it looks, this is how we're going to do it, then everything should be smooth and everything should run fine.
Yeah, when it comes to like discipline and everything, you know, just because that other person, that's their biological daughter or son or whatever, doesn't mean that they still shouldn't, you know, listen and respect the other parent. And at the same time, doesn't mean that that parent shouldn't have to, you know, lay down the law sometimes. If our kids get in trouble, you know, I'm not going to go to Roshana all the time and say, hey, you need to do this, do that, because that child needs to see that we're on the same page. Because if not, they're gonna play that game.
I was also on the other side of that. You know, I was raised by my stepdad, and that's another thing. Our daughter, she's never said, you know, Mark or my stepdad. When we were dating, she used to call him Mark. I never told her that she had to call him dad. Before we got married, she came to me and asked, you know, if she can call him dad. And pretty much I stayed out of it. I said, you know, you can go talk to Mark and ask him how he feels about it and however you feel about it, and y'all can come up with, you know, whatever you want to call it. The other side of it, where I had a stepfather who raised me from 2.5 years old, and when I was 12, I found out that I had a biological father. So, you know, as a child, you can start to feel yourself a little bit and think that, you know, well, you ain't my dad, like, you know, some people do. And I did that before. You know, my dad was trying to discipline me, and by that time I already knew I had another father. I had started building a relationship with him, and it wasn't the best thing to do or a good thing. And praise God that our relationship is we still have a wonderful relationship now. But that one moment, you know, I tried it, and he told me to come in the house, and I was like, you ain't my dad. And next thing I know, he was like, boop. But I still respected him as my father, and to this day, he's my dad, along with my biological father. But yeah, you know, it can be kind of hard, but you just want to make sure that you build that relationship. Because I had that strong relationship with my stepdad, from growing up all those years, you know, I still respected him. I had that one dumb moment, but I still respected him as my father. And that's a good thing, because he built that relationship in the beginning for me to still respect him as a parent in my life.
Well, you can't emphasize enough. So like that other person whom you had that child with, you know, they have to be mature enough too to accept, like, hey, I trust, you know, this other person raising my child. You know what I mean? Because that can be an issue if if everybody's not on the same page. And you know, we had it good all around.
Yeah.
You know, never had no issues with her father. He never had no issues with me. So, you know what I mean?
That's because I didn't play that baby mama drama, baby daddy drama either.
I didn't either, because I would have straight pieced you if you did.
Alright guys, so hopefully you all enjoyed this video. If you have any comments that you would like to leave below, go ahead and leave the comment. Make sure you subscribe to our page. And if you have any other topics that you would like us to share, we're not saying that, this is a disclosure, we're not saying that we know everything, but some of the experiences that we do have, we would like to share with you guys just to help someone else. So if you have any questions or any topics that you would like us to speak about, just go ahead and leave them on the comment section or on our Instagram page at Echoes for Life, and we will see y'all soon.